kind of petty bourgeoisie anytime you live in here. In this country, you got to be in skullduggery, making you money illicitly to live like somebody. In this country, it's outrageous and insane. Them crazy prices in Port of Spain, and like the merchants going out their brain, and the working man like he only toiling in vain. Where you ever hear a television for 7,000, $250,000 for a piece of land? A pair of sneakers, $200, 80,000-90,000 for motor cars. At last, here in Trinidad, we see capitalism gone mad. It's sad and getting more bad, because due capitalism gone mad. Provide for your family today on your present salary is an impossibility. In this country, so many bills to pay, there is no conceivable way to save for a rainy day. In this country, sharpness, to be precise, is why every damn thing so overpriced. Big business making everybody feel government give them a open license to steal. Would you believe me? One nylon panty is $19.90, $20 for some baby milk. The cheapest jersey costs over.
I want to say a pleasant good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Change a year.
Well, guys thought I would not have been here.
It's hard here in Trinidad.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today being Wednesday,
Capitalism.
the 18th day of June 2025.
Things getting more bad. Oh Lord.
Capitalism gone mad. It is another wonderful day in Grenada, Carriacou, and PD Martinique. Another class in session program.
This is Caribbean Vibes.
To buy a pack of cigarette, but leave you with a hole in your wallet, and money is so hard to get in this country.
So just to quickly run through
It doesn't matter.
the what's happening
The charging
and events
in
Post Royal Village Group. They are presenting
Memories.
Post Royal Day tomorrow, starting from 7 a.m. until.
is highway
The people from Post Royal are looking to send a vehicle for me now.
food,
I want to be a part of this, right?
games,
Yes, we start from 7 a.m.
but
Free food, including breakfast,
expect good work at.
and a solid bar waits you, man.
Just imagine.
So be a part of this one tomorrow. Road reeling, bunks and castles, face painting, games, still pan music, cultural presentation,
1,000
live performances, and more.
for the
So go out there to Post Royal tomorrow
Yeah.
and enjoy Post Royal Day, alright?
entry.
Listen and get me a going.
Oh Lord, capitalism gone mad.
Green Screen Promotion presents 50 Shades Darker. That's a day cruise on Sunday the 27th day of July aboard the Kayak Princess. It is only $85 to be on board, $300 for VIP. Check out Chucky, Spice Mobile, and Sam. Chucky's by St. George's, Spice Mobile in St. Andrew, and Sam in Guava, alright? To the persons in New York, my heart is heavy. I can tell you guys this. However, the New York chapter group, support group,
You got to have heavy con
they present on the 21st
Yes, so-
an exquisite event,
to make
an evening of elegance,
in this.
style, and class.
You got to know how to chip the
Starting at 9 p.m.
scheme.
Music by DJ Jude and DJ Small Clothes. Tickets are only $100. Formal attire.
Survive.
That will be taking place at Caribe Hall.
Yes, ma'am.
That's on 1963
Yes.
Utica Avenue. That's in Brooklyn, New York.
We done him.
Get an opportunity to meet the chairman of the new National Party.
Somehow we go dead before the end of this session.
The political leader and leader of His Majesty Opposition, Honorable Emmeline Pear, and Senator Nolan Cox, the deputy leader of the political party. That's the New National Party.
Fish meat and poultry, time you buy greens.
On the 20th, or the 28th, that is, sorry, at the Busheju Community Center, the St. George's Northwest Constituency Branch, executive present a breakfast and barbecue luncheon starting from 7 a.m. Music and drinks on sale, $20 for the breakfast and the barbecue luncheon, alright? Fit for Life, Mitchell's Health and Wellness, and Follow Us Fitness. They present to you Revolution 11, starting from July 7th to the 31st. To be a part of this one, alright? Yeah. Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, that would have officially brought us to the end of the events that will be happening. And if you guys can be a part of it, it's okay to just, you know, run on, how did I say? Be outside. Yeah? So it's okay to be outside on that day. I want to say good afternoon to many of you guys. This evening, I want it to be a somewhat interactive evening, and if you guys can and will be able to, you can, and the information is going across the screen. You can call or message via WhatsApp on 418-3702 as we get interactive today, as we have our conversation today, as we dig deeper into what is happening. Yes, and I am happy to be here this evening for another program with you guys. As I said, I really made the oath to myself and to others that, you know, it is time that we get consistent in the program, and that, you know, we get to the nitty-gritty of the matters. All right, I want to start by playing this one, and I am, as I said to you guys, the NNP usually gets it done. Yeah, so I want you to listen to this clip, because the question at this stage, ladies and gentlemen, the question at this stage, ladies and gentlemen, is that there's a lot of persons within the National Democratic Congress. We heard of Transparency. We heard them call Dr. Mitchell and the organization Bong to Lie, and all kind of names that we heard spurred at the New National Party while in reign. Now, I want to play this one here, and it was circulating within the past day or so, as it relates to person or persons within the NDC who considered themselves the persons who were going to bring the change. Remember, the first stint of governance spoke to that of what? Transparency and accountability and so on and so forth. So I want to play this one. I want you guys to listen to this one right here.
To take this opportunity today to make it very clear that an NDC administration would put an end to the sale of the Grenadian passport, and we will scrap the NNP CBI program. We will scrap the NNP CBI program. This program, as we see it, is not in our best interest in the way that it is being administered. We must make it absolutely clear that as far as we are concerned, the Grenada passport is not a commodity. It's an instrument of national identity. And what must be happening is that our government should be acting as the custodians of our passport, not as the merchants of our passport. It cannot be that in the name of selling our passport, you are doing this without any regard for the concerns with our national reputation, the concerns with our pride as a nation, the concerns with our independence, the safety and security concerns, and the risks that it poses for business persons who wish to use the local commercial banks so as to enter into corresponding banking relationships with others. This, our government must not become, and our country must not become a magnet for criminals and conmen. All right? We should not be in a position where we find ourselves ashamed and embarrassed and worried every day that something terrible is going to happen to us because in whose hands our passport ends up. So we must make it absolutely clear that we will bring this program to an end. We will bring this program to an end. It is unacceptable what is going on, and in spite of all the calls, in spite of all the warnings, in spite of all the statements, in spite of all the risks, this government is simply turning up its nose at the nation. So we wish to express our total disgust with what is going on and make it absolutely clear that we will put a stop to this when we form the government.
Ladies and gentlemen, tell you guys, let me tell you something. In Grenada, Carriacou be the one. My question posed right now in Grenada is, where are these guys? Where are these same individual or individuals who spoke so eloquently, who kicked against the CBI program in all way, fashions, and form to ensure that at the end of the day, the image must be, or should have been painted, that the new National Party's administration were bringing in con men and con women. Today, ladies and gentlemen, the information that is coming out from an international perspective, not a national perspective, from an international perspective, is that there are countries internationally at this stage, that mainly being the United States of America, that is barring a lot of the CBI custodians or the CBI persons or individuals that have acquired passport through CBI processes. Now, the allegation laid is that the same individual to date, the very said individual, is a probable CBI agent. I remember in the last sitting, yes, or the last meeting, not the last sitting, but the last meeting that the NNP would have held, that's in Riverside, when Dr. Mitchell spoke and he brought to light the conversation that was a lovely word being used by the then Prime Minister, transparency and good governance. That's what Brother Tilly used to say. Transparency and good governance was his word or words when he's echoing sentiments of governance. Today, ladies and gentlemen, the silence is deafening. The silence, ladies and gentlemen, is deafening. We are sending persons to represent our country in places where, when you listen to them, you have to laugh. Because as the opposition leader, he's opposition leader, His Majesty's opposition leader, I don't know how many of you guys would have taken the time off to take a little piece of honorable pay yesterday. But it is a very long one, that I can tell you. It is just about 8 minutes and something long. And I don't think I want to go through the entire thing. It is up to you guys to give me the okay to do so. But I want you guys, if time permits you, to go and listen to the deliberation, the conversation from Miss Pear. And maybe I should play just a little piece. And for you guys to understand the to-come Prime Minister and the manner in which she deliberates on an international level. And in that case, it was a regional meeting. So listen to this.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, let me join with those who went before me to congratulate you on resuming the role as Speaker of this very important assembly. And I want to take this opportunity. You know, the truth is I was not going to stand, Madam Speaker. And the reason being that the words time constraints were used so many times during this session that you literally felt that you were going against the order of time should you stand. And I want to join, Madam Speaker, with the presenter before me, the member before me, and to say that some of us had so many challenges, even to get here, that I started wondering myself, you know, was it worth it? And if we had to assemble every 2 years for an exercise where we present a suite of bills, which I totally, absolutely agree with, but do not provide sufficient time to ventilate and to discuss, we're going to continue to have the same challenges of regional unity as we've had over the years. Madam Speaker, when the presenter of the bills said it's important to have larger size, larger voice, I absolutely agree. But I believe fundamentally so that there's an issue that is even more important than numbers and strength of voice, and that is united or unity in purpose. And I believe that captures the very essence in my mind of what was shared by the opposition leader of St. Lucia. Madam Speaker, you see, when we leave here, we go back to our various countries. And one member made reference of the submission of reactions to the very thing that we came here to discuss. In addition to that, Madam Speaker, I also believe very strongly, as was said before, the importance of government and opposition coming together, having a common perspective and position, particularly on these matters that are so important for uniting this region. Let's be honest with ourselves. There are members around this table who came prepared to present and decided they were not going to because of time constraints. There are members around this table who did not see the documents prior to coming here. And let me just say, no fault of the OECS Secretariat. I wish to state this. I'm therefore saying, Madam Speaker, that I really wish important matters like these are not rushed in the way that I saw that we are rushing it this morning. But let me take the opportunity to also say this, and just to make a few points. It was clearly stated, the global challenges, all that we face, it is an absolute necessity for us to unite ourselves as a region, the OECS region. Only recently, Madam Speaker, we had a visit from CARICOM, and I hate to use this as an example. And we were talking about deadlines that we met, we set, we agreed upon, and we're back to say it's impossible, we have to reset. I'm also saying in the same breath that at the local level, there's absolutely no discussion between government and opposition on these important issues that are so critical for our very survival in this region. And so I'm hoping, Madam Speaker, that coming out of this, we are going to agree that we are going to unite our efforts, government and opposition, to ensure that whatever it is that we agree upon, that we put all of our efforts and energies to ensure that it happens. The global situation is now going to get better. And so it means that if we don't find what is common, that we can unite ourselves around, as a region, we are going to pay the price even more than we are paying now. And so when we look at what is presented, of course they are going to be circulated at the local level. But I would want to advocate this afternoon, is it? That we ensure and we commit ourselves to consultation and engagement at the local level before going into our various parliaments. But also that government and opposition would sit on some of those critical bills that are presented even before it goes to the public for consultation. You see, we can fool ourselves into thinking that some of these issues can become partisan issues. And I want to beg and plead this morning that those things that are so critical for the survival of this region, that we seek to get buy-in through unity at the local level. How important is it for implementation? So, Mr. Speaker, when we go to our people with these bills, we want to project a united approach. But of course, to unite our efforts, we must be talking. We must be engaging. I still believe that this is one of the strongest vehicles that we have, the OECS Union, for regional integration and success. Whether it's economically or otherwise, I believe what we have is an excellent vehicle. And so we have to use it. Can it work? Yes. But I believe there are some fundamental things that we must pay attention to. For us as an opposition in Grenada, we stand ready and committed. There's reference to the establishment of a working group. Let me say here, we endorse this. We are prepared to support it. We are prepared to have representation through whatever form that is possible. But, Madam Speaker, establishing working groups and committees should not be a stop point. We must have a serious mechanism for monitoring, for evaluating, for assessing, for providing of support and feedback. And again, I want to make the point that we stand ready to work with all and sundry, whether it's at the local level, at OECS level, to ensure that all of those things that we consider to be so critical, so important, that we are prepared to put the work in, the support in, but there must be sufficient opportunity for dialogue and consultation and equal engagement of opposition and government in the process. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I said I would have given you just a little tease. I said I've given you just a little tease as it relates to what was said. But in all honesty, I had to go further so that you guys could hear what the opposition leader would have deliberated on. Yes? Let me say this, ladies and gentlemen. What baffles me most in Grenada is that the other side and their supporters would have mentioned that, hey, listen, the past administration was bad. They did nothing for 23 years, poor governance, poor leadership, whatever. In the back of my mind, I'm asking myself the question. Now, if nothing was being done, and let's be logical as a people, let us not have a conversation because you're an NNP. But let us have a logical conversation. Now, if I am stating that nothing was done towards something or someone, and I come 2 years, well, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years in excess thereof, after, and I can't not yet place my hand on anything substantiable to get done, but whenever it is done, the past administration or the past government can say it is because of me that was done. Because at the end of the day, every single thing that has been touched or presented or done by this administration, somehow the past administration can step forward and step into the light proudly that, hey, we were the custodians of this. I remember mentioning the Bonnet Bridge hosting the meeting at River Sally. Let me say to you, ladies and gentlemen, government is continuum only in NDC's favor. Only when NDC want to say government is continuum, they would mention it. My thing is that the present senator, and there is more than 80% of persons within the cabinet and government that sits right now, that when this project was initiated, signed for, negotiated for, neither one of them was not even a politician. Neither one of them would have believed that today they would have been part of a government, part of cabinet, part of the upper or lower house. And so you have an entity that aided in the bridge becoming a possibility. Let me say to you, I can say to you guys open that there are individuals that are part of even the BNTF that can come forward, and they have done it, that can come forward and say, listen to me, this is a reality today because your parliamentary representative at the time, minister of the government and cabinet, played an integral part in ensuring the Bonnet Bridge is a possibility today. Now, my thing is this. What burns me or earns me the most, and what got me upset in recent days, is that the sitting senator in St. Mark's, let me tell you something, as I said to somebody recently, I know ever so often that the senatorial role, that when you get it, there's a probability you could hold like a position as a junior minister within a ministry. I have never seen a senator move so much within a 3-year period. They give him a CES program, he makes zest with it. Based on conversation, he was even asked by the party to at least identify a couple projects to be done in St. Mark's. And up to date, they can't get one from him. He would have dug a few drains and fixed a few drains based on my understanding. And he's now the greatest thing after sliced bread. My thing with this government is this. Starting with the issue of the plane. Remember when Brother Tevin run and take props for the plane? And all the other things that have been happening. It goes to show, ladies and gentlemen, that, and the thing about it, they can't question it. Everything that they want to put their signature by, NNP is coming forward and say, this is happening because we did it. We caused this to be a probability. Negotiations, whether it be consultations, we are the ones that cause it to be done. And then a particular member of parliament stand in the house and says, and hold a piece of pipe, and says everything is in the pipeline. You know what my question is, ladies and gentlemen? With after 3 years that this administration is saying all that is being done is through government continuum, could you imagine that if the NNP had won the last general election, with all the pipeline projects that they're stating that they're doing now, it only means, ladies and gentlemen, your government was working for you. It only goes to show, and I want you guys to understand this, it means that the new National Party, with the several projects that was in pipeline, whether or not there is 0 to 100, it means that the organization of the past, the administration, the NNP administration was working for you and me. It means that while we were resting, the members of the past government was getting things done, whether through consultation, whether through initiative, whether through actual grants or loans. The past administration was getting things done. You have an administration that left office with a treasury of over $500 million and with several projects that was, as is stated, in the pipeline. It means that your government was working for you. It means that the past administration was not there sitting playing the fool. They were doing the works of the Grenadian people. The $500 million, even if you want to say, is it the country's money? It was the country's money that was well accounted for by the past administration. And that is the fact. Because they are not hiding it. They are not hiding it. And even if they try to take the props for it, we are making you guys know, hey, it's we that caused it to be done. So when you, ladies and gentlemen, listen to the presentations that are being made by our opposition leader that calls for our country's unity and conversation and integration, that says we need to bring everything on the table to get it done, and acknowledging the fact that she is willing to input or implement or initiate anytime the OECS is ready. And she continues to voice unity. And then we have a prime minister that stands and speaks. Well, if we didn't know Alois and if we don't know Alois and Nisi, that is why the other side gets it. And then we have members of the party that cannot simply stand and say, we are here and we are opening this, or we have done this, but it is through the initiation and consultation of the past administration. These persons are not focused on the minor things that the layman man sees every day. Let me show you gross incompetence. Due to the fire auxiliary, fire truck, attempting to out a fire on Halifax Street sometime late last year, the government's vehicle, the fire truck, collided with a traffic light in the town of St. George. in the heart. When I tell you the heart, there is the heart. And for those who don't know where that is coming up the Granby Street, that's KFC Street. The traffic lights that are there, the truck came down from on top of the hill and it would have collided with the traffic light on the left side of the road in trying to maneuver to go up to Halifax Street. Ladies and gentlemen, the light fell and it's on the ground. Could you imagine that said light is in working condition? If you go and you look at the light is working. The light is in working condition. Now, instead of facilitating the opportunity to re-erect that pole, you know what these incompetent people did? They get boards and they barong the traffic light how it is on the ground in a somewhat triangular shape. Now, if you go and you pass there and you look there now, it is a garbage heap. Persons are passing and tossing garbage within that area, in the heart of town. In the heart of town. Now, let me say to you again, the light is in working condition. The light, when it turns green, red, or amber, it is reflecting on the ground. Ladies and gentlemen, that is gross incompetence. That is gross incompetence. Because we speak transformation, and we speak tourism, and we speak development. And if you can't tell me that somebody within the realm, within the powers that be, can't yet get somebody to simply re-erect a traffic light, ladies and gentlemen, in my trip to the United States, here mornings are passing, and for those of us who have traveled before, I'm passing in the morning. So then you pass areas in the morning, and the road or the sidewalk is being reconstructed. And by the evening or the next day, that very said road is done, or street or sidewalk. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, they like to compare America and all the bigger places to Grenada. People are doing what they're doing. You saying to me, this work may not require anything more than a day, a 24-hour period, because all the other lights are operational. So if it means that the work has to be done and officers have to come and control the traffic, fine. You're telling me in excess of 6 to 7 months thereafter that a traffic light lays in the tongue of St. George? A traffic light. You know, most times when you go, I don't know how many of you guys have heard it before, that they tell you some people decide a country's behavioral pattern based on the traffic condition. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm saying this to say that this administration don't prioritize the things that they should prioritize. Let's jump into the conversation of deportment, the deportees, and how other countries are taking it not with a pinch of salt, because they understand how significant it is. And in my research today, I happened to stumble on a post again, because ever so often I go on persons who I know the conversation is of interest. And Sister Linda Stricker, it's like we don't think alike. Or sometimes when I want a little idea, I just jump across by her. And she shares the very same sentiment with me. Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell has disclosed that the number of deportees from the United States of America has not increased since Donald Trump returned to the White House in January 2025. I actually don't have the status on this. I can say, however, that based on my last conversation with the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Immigration Department, that we have seen no increase in the number of deportees since President Trump returned to the White House. He said while responding to a question on his weekly DM with the PN program. Ladies and gentlemen, that is an utter lie. At the end of the day, you know who are being deported. Persons that are not properly documented. Yeah? Persons that have seen maybe criminal records or so on and so forth. The cable was described to the Associated Press as the countries to take action to address the U.S. concern within 60 days or risk being added to the current ban, which now includes 12 nations. Of the 36 new countries targeted, 25 are African. State Department spokesman Tammy Bruce declined to comment on the specifics in the cable, which was first reported by the Washington Post. She confirms that the administration wanted nations to improve their own vetting process for passport holders, accept their nationals, deportees from the U.S., and take other steps to ensure that their citizens are not a threat to the U.S. The 36 countries identified in the new cables, and they outlined it a few. Yeah? Now, ladies and gentlemen, there are issues, burning issues that is as it relates to the conversation of the passport. Yes? Now, at the end of the day, we want you guys to understand this. This is not a means of castigation. This is a means of understanding the process. It is a means of being in the know and in the understanding. They are not saying to you, or the US is not saying to you, at the end of the day, we are going to do high-handedly. We're saying we want you to protect your citizens. My question is, what have this administration done to protect us as citizens, other than simply try to more and more initiate problems within the state of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martin? Now, I read something today, and I always say to you guys, it is just a matter of time. Because, let me say to you, no man is perfect. No one is perfect. And when there are issues, there are issues. And that is why I often like to say I am happy that with the resignation process, yes, with the registration process, and all the other things, the person that resigned from the party meaning, and all the other things, I am happy about it. Because, you see, you know what NNP's issue or issues were. And you see, immediately they stated that's a lie. I don't know how many of you guys have seen it. It is an excerpt or a posting that speaks to trouble in the camp. The NDC is imploding from within, yeah, or exploding from within. Yeah, the person would have put imploding, but basically that's what they're trying to say. As someone who has been with the National Democratic Congress for years, I have never thought I would be speaking out like this. But what's happening right now isn't normal. The party is tearing itself apart from the inside. Ron Redhead has gone completely rogue, and he is not the only one. Andy Williams and Tevin Andrew are also fed up. They feel like if they are being disrespected, sidelined, treated like little boys, and honestly, they are not wrong. they're tired, of the way Deacon Mitchell runs the show. Deacon is all about himself. He's flying all over the world, posting pictures, building the personal image, while his ministers are left with no support. Everything is about DM brand. Meanwhile, those who are supposed to be helping run the government are being ignored, cut out, and pushed to the side. Ron, Andy, and Tevin have started pushing back. They've been making public appearances and decisions without telling anyone because they're done waiting on Deacon. It's their way of showing they're not on board with how things are going. That's not discipline, that's rebellion. Now I want to stop there for a while and just say this. No, let's take it to mean that this is a lie. Let's take it to mean that they're saying, because they have said this, they say that is a lie. This is fake news. But who have we seen most recent in the most recent public images? Think of it yourself. Who have we seen making the public appearances, going in the places, having the different interviews, and so on and so forth? I rest my case. Inside cabinet, it's tense. Most people have turned on Deacon quietly, not because they hate him, but because they no longer believe in his leadership. He's becoming isolated and does not know how to handle the team anymore. Instead of fixing things, he is focused on his personal PR, posting quotes, carefully curated photos, trying to protect his image while the government is falling apart. The truth is, the party is out of control. There is no unity, no direction, no discipline. Just a bunch of trying to survive, and Deacon, instead of leading, is just trying to save himself. I am genuinely worried. This isn't what we promised the people, and if something does not change soon, the party is going to crash and burn. If we don't fix it now, there won't be anything left to fix later, a concerned NDC member. Now let me say to you, I always like to say, I don't like to spread propaganda. But you have to think of the logics in what you hear. Yeah, you may get the information that there is gunshots down the road. You have not gone down the road to see the gunshots, but you find you see everybody running in a direction. You understand where I'm coming from? So, even if we're stating that what has been said here may not be factual, but let's put what has been said into perspective. DM with the PM. The personal walkthroughs that have been taking place in St. David's. Now, if you go on the page of the Prime Minister in recent days, you would realize that the conversation from him must involve something that he is in, particularly, not governance. So take it to mean that the in recent days, the like yesterday, there were members that went to represent Grenada. Yeah, that went to represent Grenada. And if we look at the Prime Minister's page, the official Prime Minister's page, and let me go back to it. The Prime Minister, Honorable Deacon Mitchell, attends the 77th meeting of the OECS Authority in St. Vincent. Yes, another one again where he's bank holiday and admission. Another one again that is where he's in pictures with him in Parliament, right? Another one here again with where he requires cooperation and all these things on him. Another one again that's where he's sitting. Yeah, all when you go through his page. All when you go through his page. Yes, you would realize that a very high majority of the things that he has been posting zeroes in to him. Yeah? And he's not reflecting other members of the party. So let's take it to mean, as I said, even if it is propaganda, when you follow what is happening, yes, when you follow what is happening, you would realize that all that is being pushed is to ensure that the brand of him be reflected. No. The PRO, the PRO would have mentioned that he carried out an investigation on the behalf of the party. Yes? Whether or not the Prime Minister or the leader of the party authorized it, that is yet to be known. Now, if he didn't, it means that we're seeing the rogue and rebellion or rebellious behavior. Because it means everybody's doing what they want. Andy Williams decided, you know what, the last holiday, I am doing a tour. It is to my understanding that while we get ready to mark 1 year later, after the people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique, and there are persons still homeless, persons still struggling in Carriacou and Petit Martinique, the present Minister for Carriacou and Petit Martinique Affairs has posted on his page. Let me see if I get it, because I don't want all you to say Prince say. And then I'll look up back and say it is AI. Right? He would have posted on his page a motorcade that will be marking the 1 year anniversary. Let me see if I get it. I want to make sure I get it because I want to read. I don't want to read the flyer. I want to make sure my hand fall on it so I could see it. I don't want to promote their stuff. Yeah? Oh no, that's it. Not there. Anyway, somebody showed me today, so I had the opportunity to see it. But it has been planned, ladies and gentlemen, that there will be a big motorcade. A big motorcade that will be happening in Carriacou to mark the 3rd year of the party in office. While there are people, ladies and gentlemen, that are still struggling. There are people that are still questioning, when will we be able to get out from the situation that we're in? And instead of assisting those persons, those guys, are doing something else. The Prime Minister takes lead in everything. But as of late, we have seen emerging faces. And the things that they are doing and saying are very controversial to what each other is saying. I played the clip yesterday with what Andy said a day before, as opposed to what Sister Thomas would have said. He said the Build Back Better is the best thing. You know, it's going really good. And then you have the minister responsible saying, watch me, the Build Back Better is a disaster after the disaster. And they are in full contradiction, going wrong and wrong and wrong and subtle. Ladies and gentlemen, what I want you guys to continue to do, and I'm going to ask you guys again, to please continue to pay attention to the different pages. Yeah? Go ahead, look for the site. You guys can subscribe to the page right now. It is www.subscribetonnmp.org, and all the factual information will be found there. We want all you to get the information from the horse's mouth. We want you guys to get it from the horse's mouth. We don't want all you to hear hearsay. We don't want all you to hear hearsay. We want to look at it from the horse's mouth. Yeah? So, like when they come and they give you the information, we can be able to tell you. Yeah? We don't want you to end up like persons like Wayne Lazarus and them on Facebook that just come would have just mentioned, you know, what are doing. They are bewildered. In the back of their mind, they are not even taking the time off to even educate themselves on things that they should do. Because as I tell people already, if I don't like something or somebody, I don't even bother to go and look for them. Yeah? Because at the end of the day, it's persons that gave service blamelessly. Yeah? So, when persons like them come and they come about, it is easy to address them. It's an old police, I know him. Yeah? Because they have never taken the time to understand and know, even as police officers, waste that time. Yeah? So we want all you to take the time for yourself and learn and go through and understand. Don't do like fellas like Wayne and them and just go through the process. They go through the police force and they just drag their foot, go right through, and then at the end, nothing. Tell all you, when they come for me, I just come for them, because when they start, I just start. Yeah? So, we're employing to you guys. Check your voters list. Understand what is happening. Be in the know. Yeah? Feel free to ask questions. At the end of the day, this is not a matter of castigation or hating a political party, and I always say that to you guys. It's not about hating an individual, hating a parliamentary representative or minister of government. At the end of the day, they're tasked with governing you and I. And if they were to falter, we simply address the issue that is. At the end of the day, I wouldn't go around saying, I hate Andy Williams or I hate Bickard Mitchell. They are Grenadians, and we need to understand this first. Not going to be like the others that preaching on the program to hate this one and block this one. No. My main focus is being able to be you as a in your democratic mind. Yeah? You must think first in your democratic mind and understand that this is democracy. An election happened. The party you supported would have lost. And so you need to observe whether or not, at this stage, must I stay where I'm at? Must I move to the other side? Have they met my expectation? Is this what I'm looking for? Is this what I want for my children and grandchildren? This is the question to be asked in the back of your mind. Ask yourself this question. If they're doing good in your favor, by all means. But if they're not, be as vocal and understanding as I am in your democratic mind to be able, ladies and gentlemen, to say, should I re-elect or must I not? And that is your democratic right. This is not about me hating you. This is not about me assassinating your character. This is not speaking about your past or your present or your mother or your father. It doesn't make any sense. As I said to you guys, and the typical example, they went on about Dr. Mitchell. But he stood steadfastly and did the work of the Grenadian people and was re-elected time and time and time again. Check your voters list. Get registered. That if you are pleased or displeased, exercise your democratic right when the bell tolls. When the bell tolls, exercise your democratic rights. Have no one shun you or have you believe that you have no say. Make your voice be heard. We want to hear you. Stop bawling with all your mouth closed. Stop rendering the corruption of the past to be all your excuse of the present. That when somebody is alleged for bribery and corruption, the answer that is given is, and they used to do it. If you voted for betterment and you wanted change, you can't say to me that you are agreeing with what is happening now by negotiating the same bad that you did not want. So at the end of the day, when we listen and we understand and we want to elect or select the next government, do so by understanding that you must, not without, you must know what you want for you or what you want to see for you and your children and grandchildren and even persons around you. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, it brings us to the end of today's broadcast. Definitely was a pleasure again being in your company. For the few of you guys who are on the group chat has been created. And if you guys want to be a part of, as I said to you, you can send me a WhatsApp message or you can send me a message on Messenger of your contact number. The group chat has started. It is one way we want to have the conversations, the logical conversations. We don't want you just come in and say, oh, we hear that, and if you have the facts, we want you to bring it. Yeah? Ever so often when you do that, you get a chance to share ideas. So sometimes you might be saying Hurricane Ivan was in 2014, and somebody can tell you, no, it was in 2004. So that you don't stand in the House of Parliament and give a wrong date. Or maybe in some forum. Yeah? So ladies and gentlemen, it was definitely a pleasure being with you here for the week. I know tomorrow is a holiday, so you'll be asking each and every one of you guys to be safe. I am unsure as to whether or not Sister Jenny will be on tomorrow, but I know this is one of the most anticipated podcasting that you guys are looking forward for the upcoming week. And I want to ask of you guys to open your mind's eyes to the conversations that are being aired. Open your mind's eyes. As I always say to you, listen what is not said, read what is not written. Sometimes they don't come out plain and say it, but when you logically put everything into perspective, you would realize that, oh, so it's so. Yeah? So ladies and gentlemen, do enjoy your holidays tomorrow if it means that you're going to church or whatever it is that you're doing tomorrow. Do it to the best of your ability. Enjoy. God's blessings to each and every one of you guys. And catch you back here again next Monday where we'll have another class in session program with yours truly, Royalty James.
To be a millionaire or some kind of petty bourgeoisie anytime you live in here. In this country, you got to be in skullduggery, making you money illicitly to live like somebody in this country. It's outrageous and insane, them crazy prices in Port of Spain, and like the merchants going out their brain, and the working man like the only toiling in vain. Where you ever hear a television for 7,000, $250,000 for the piece of land, a pair of sneakers, $200, 80,000-90,000 for motor cars. At last, here in Trinidad, we see capitalism gone mad. It's sad and getting more bad, because capitalism gone mad. Provide for your family today on your present salary is an impossibility in this country. So many bills to pay, there is no conceivable way to save for a rainy day in this country. Avariciousness, to be precise, is why every damn thing so overpriced. Big business making everybody feel government give them a open license to steal. Would you believe me? One night of panty is $19.90, $20 for some baby milk. The cheapest jersey costs over $60, 200 and change a yard for silk. It hard here in Trinidad. Lord have mercy, capitalism gone mad. It's sad, things getting more bad. Oh Lord, capitalism gone mad.
This is Caribbean Vibes.
To buy a pack of cigarette just leave you with a hole in your wallet, and money is so hard to get in this country. Necessity or luxuries, it doesn't matter what the item is, they're charging anything they please in this country. Primary school books price is lewd, is highway robbery the price of food. All hopes and dreams elude the poor man, but politicians still expect good work attitude. Just imagine this, the cheapest coffee, over 3,000, not even dying today easy. Thousands of dollars for the undertaker, so you could get a spot in the cemetery. It hard here in Trinidad. Oh Lord, capitalism gone mad. The gladness that once we had is gone because capitalism gone mad. You got to have heavy contact, know how to move up in society to make any kind of impact in this country. You got to know how to chip the feel, how to scheme and swindle properly, perfect the art of wheel and deal in this country. I say survival in this land isn't easy for no man. With unemployment and high inflation, somehow we go dead before the end of this recession. Where the hell is this? Some mango truly costing $3.50, $40 for half your salary for fish, meat and poultry. Time you buy greens, all your money gone. It hard here in Trinidad. Lord have mercy, capitalism gone mad. It's sad and getting more hard. Lord, capitalism